Welcome to a special edition of Jesse Watters Primetime. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, and for Jesse. Well, the DNC finally released their 2024 autopsy report. I have it here. And it came after Kamala stained their party with her 107-day campaign. They've been trying to figure out what went wrong, and somehow it took them almost 200 pages, literally filled with typos, to find an answer. And they still don't get it. Their biggest takeaways: you can't just be anti-Trump. You have to stay on offense, coordinate strategies, and don't take voters for granted. The diagnosis on Kamala, the $1 billion she raised, just wasn't enough. They want small donors opening their pockets earlier. But they finally admitted their deep bench is actually pretty thin. The autopsy says they need to focus on the long game. But the DNC didn't want this to get out. Their head, Ken Martin, said that the report wasn't ready for prime time. But even CNN wants more.
It does not touch a couple of topics that a lot of people were very interested in and thought were the reasons for this report not being out. There's nothing about Joe Biden and what happened in the debate. There's nothing about Kamala Harris getting the nomination without any kind of primary process. And also there is nothing about the way that voters were responding to Gaza and how the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris policies and comments about it were hitting their minds.
Now get this, in these 192 pages, they do not mention Biden's decline, not once. Now, they did mention transgender just one time. They said Trump's they-them ads crushed Kamala's campaign because it was right. The DNC says Kamala didn't connect with the working class, completely ignored middle America. She was all for they, them. Now, a source told Fox that Josh Shapiro wasn't happy that they didn't release this sooner. Maybe they were just too embarrassed to drop it. Members of their party were not impressed by the final product.
An autopsy is a medical procedure you do over a corpse. And now it sounds like we need a malpractice attorney because we couldn't even do the autopsy correctly.
But Democrats did not need a rocket scientist. They did not need 200 pages. They just needed a little common sense. Here's a 5-point autopsy report. Democrats said men can become women and play in their sports. Democrats allowed 10 million plus illegals into our country. Democrats took inflation from 1.4% to a height of 9.1%. Democrats had a candidate that could barely string a coherent sentence together. And Democrats lied about an ailing, non-functioning commander-in-chief. There, I did that in less than 60 seconds, and I did it for free. The Democrats, though, seem much more focused on Trump. Rather than taking a deep, inward, reflective look at their policies, they wrote a Trump-focused report. 127 mentions of Trump, just 30 mentions of Biden, 0 mentions of the so-called Manosphere podcast that they overlooked, 0 mentions of Joe Rogan, whose massive audience they shunned, but a lot of downplaying their defeat. The autopsy said their defeat was by, quote, hair-splitting margins. What part of their defeat was hair-splitting? Trump won every single swing state. Trump was the first GOP candidate to win the popular vote in 20 years. Trump made double-digit increases with Black, Latino, and young voters. That is not hair-splitting. That is a landslide. Why can't they admit that?
We lost the last election. It wasn't close, okay? But the fact that we can't even tell people why, we're too afraid to tell them the truth. They know the truth. They saw the debate. They saw what happened, right? And they saw that we got killed in the election. We lost every swing state. So they can write whatever document they want, but Democrats know why we lost.
The Democrat message was, we are not Trump. An Obama world says with a message like that, it didn't matter who the messenger was.
Even if she were a flawless candidate, which she wasn't, and even if they ran a flawless campaign, I'm not sure the outcome would have been different.
Now, the one thing Democrats admitted, they have a man problem. Democratic men aren't showing up to cast their votes. Every down-ballot Democrat did better with men than Kamala Harris. And they still haven't fixed this problem. Look at this. This is shocking. A new Quinnipiac poll. Democrats only have 16% approval from men. And it's not just men. 72% of voters overall disapprove of the party. It is a mess. And that is an open secret. But they think it's nothing a little marketing won't fix.
Democrats may not have the strongest brand, but we have the strongest beliefs. And in this moment, our job is to show that Democrats and democracy can deliver.
Democrats are trying to get anyone to believe them, but even their loyal wine mom fan club isn't buying what they're selling.
When I was all in on Kamala, I was, let's go, I'm Brat, all of it.
Okay.
And then at the DNC, libbed out, had a blast libbing out, right? So we lose.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the did we lose to this guy again? So I'm ready for the resistance. I'm like, I need to get one of those pink hats. We're going to have to march. Let's go. Let's go. And it just never came.
Their party is still looking for their next leader. Stephen A. might pick up the reins. He wants blue cities to see the golden age.
Can you think of one big blue city that is thriving right now?
No, I cannot.
And that's the answer.
Chicago. I can't say it's LA. I can't say it's New York. I can't say that.
Well, look at LA. The Dems' top two candidates for mayor are getting out-hustled by a reality star. A new poll has Spencer Pratt 3% behind incumbent Mayor Karen Bass, and he's already beating Councilwoman Nithya Raman. Now, Gavin Newsom's not worried. He just announced Karen Bass. She's doing such a good job, he says. She deserves a promotion.
In the context of where we are today and the work that we have ahead of us, I thought the meeting that Karen Bass had with the president was a very positive meeting. I think the work she's doing now on permits in particular, getting those permit times down, we're seeing real progress. And I think she deserves to be promoted for those things.
But if Karen wants it, she should probably read the autopsy.
He wants to explore ways to let non-citizens vote in city elections. Politics is all about timing. With Donald Trump in the White House, is this the right time for Los Angeles to go down this path?
Well, I think we need to explore it. Now, I've not seen exactly what he's calling for. I have a little familiarity of what happens in other cities. And for example, some cities will allow people to vote in like city council and school board elections because they pay local taxes, but they are not necessarily undocumented. They might be here completely legally, but have not finished the citizenship process.
Non-citizen voting, that's what she wants. Well, the other candidate, Nithya Raman, wants to ban barbecues to protect the community from wildfires. But Spencer Pratt said that's not happening, so he hosted a huge block party full of barbecues for the whole community. The Pratt Factor just wants to enjoy some LA fun since he lost his entire neighborhood.
They burned my entire town down.
Yeah.
They let my neighbors burn alive. And I don't live at the Hotel Bel Air, and I don't live in Santa Barbara. I live in that dirt. I'm not crying because now I'm fighting for people. I'm not a fire victim, I'm a fighter.
Pratt did his own autopsy on LA and is running on the real issues to fix the city. Democrats should take notes.
All I hear all day long from everyone is excuses. I'm going to find and fight for solutions to make people safe. If we really have a bed issue, I promise you I will do everything to make sure the beds are existent. But I don't believe we have a bed issue. I believe we have people that don't want to use the beds because they want to do drugs and be on the street.
If the Democrats want any chance of winning the midterms, they should look at Pratt. For that matter, Republicans should too. Too bad he is a registered Republican that's leading the way for the party, and anyone with these days is one.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.